There you go. Did you guys all hear that, or is that just me?
No, we all heard it.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Heard it.
So I think I remember the first parts of Zoom. I don't remember ever hearing that, but I'm sure
No.
that
It's a new feature, so everybody knows we're recording.
It was
Yeah.
after that CNN anchor thing they implemented that.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, anyway. So anyway, the idea is kind of getting together what we're all working on and kind of go from there. So I'd love to hear what you guys are all doing. I know Kyle, you and I spent a little bit of time. Let me introduce myself because you guys have never talked to me, and here I am talking a lot. My name is Mark.
Yes, I haven't talked to you yet. So
Yes,
I'm Leah, by the way.
Yes. Pleasure to meet you.
Yes, you as well.
I've just started recently with Max. I feel like we're old soulmates that have just kind of met at this stage of our life. So I've joined Max as the integrator. We use the entrepreneur operating system, and it's essentially the COO, kind of the yang to Max's yang, and so just kind of working with him to push things forward. So welcome. And pleasure to meet you all. So maybe we go with Christian, kind of what you know who you are and what you're doing.
Sure. Yeah. So met with Max a little while back. Pretty much everything on the marketing side. So anything to do with social, anything to do with the customer journey, I'll have a little bit of my hands in, and making sure that we keep reaching our milestones on the marketing side. So that's basically what I'll be doing in a nutshell.
Man, I'm going to spend a lot of time with we've been talking a lot about marketing. I think that's a very untapped market for here, and getting that journey. And you use the words I love, right? We were just talking 20 minutes ago. We're talking about the journey. So where are you located, Christian?
It's Minnesota. So up north, out here being cold out.
Yeah.
It's like today was nice, but the past month has been like freezing.
Yeah, I mean it's cold up there. So well, pleasure, man. I do think, and Max will talk about that. I would love, maybe we probably can't hear, but I would love to connect with you just on things. My background, I ran global ad agencies for about 10 years, so I've got a big passion for the marketing side. I'm not a marketer. I'm not a creative guy, but I understand that, so we'll do that. So it's Kayla, correct?
It's Kalia.
Kalia.
Yes.
If you just come up as K here. So
yes, just because K is much easier for people to say usually. So you guys can call me K if you want to. I'm fine with that. I've been working on just kind of like the social media side of things. I started a Facebook group. So if everyone actually would like to be a part of it, then I can add you on Facebook, and then of course add you to the group. So, and I'll make sure just to type my name and everything so that we can connect. But so I've been working on that side of things, marketing through the social media. So the hope is to first get the goal of 150 subscribers. So what I'm trying to do to get us there is bring in brand awareness through that Facebook group. So the more people that are added to it. And these are people that have a specific interest in multifamily real estate, not just, broad people from any interest. So that's good because we already have what they're looking for. So turning those people in the Facebook group, trying to gain the brand awareness through that group and then turning them into paid customers. And then also pushing out a lot of content on Instagram is the goal too, with hashtags, and to kind of just engage a community on there so that, again, we can build brand awareness and brand loyalty and then turn those into paid customers as well. So I have been pushing, the Geek Group Pro, the free underwriting template, and more features on the website that will stand out to people. So the goal with that is just to bring in more emails, more eyes on the website. And then once, people kind of are more familiar with it, then it starts to bring in more subscribers. So that's, going good there. I'm just trying to collect a lot of emails and I know that there's an email list already in place. So that's great. If you can get more people on it, then of course that will help as well to turn those into paid customers.
Do you have experience on that email side, like working within, like I think we use ActiveCampaign or
yes, like
that?
Klaviyo and MailChimp, all things like that. I do have a lot of experience within email marketing. So that's why I think it would be great to keep adding to that list and just make it grow and grow, because that's where a lot of people get promotions and things like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think I think everyone on this call I think collectively we're looking for the same thing, right? How do we get more people interested in this business, and how do we convert those people into, paying customers? Because, I'm a long-term marketer too, but marketing is only as good as like turning it into people that spend money, right? Because we're all doing things, we love what we do, but it all comes down to like, are we providing value to someone, and are they giving us money for that value? So
Right.
I think that's great. So I'd love to even talk with you about, because I agree with we were just talking about warming sequences and all that, and how that we can push that. So between like how between you and Christian, how does that overlap happen? Christian, are you more on the where do those things kind of mesh and intertwine?
So that's a good question. My experience, and I think we can me and Kay can kind of work on this together, kind of see where we can complement each other. I think
Yeah,
my
definitely,
experience.
Christian. I would, if you want to exchange contact information,
Yeah,
great, so that we can kind of come up with things.
for sure. Because I think for sure, I would love that. I think a lot of hers would be, I mean, for me, my experience is in paid advertising, is in those customer journeys and figuring those things out. And also figuring out, how we can, retarget email lists and things like that. And so mine is really on the paid acquisition side. And I think Kay, from hearing what she's saying, a lot of hers is community management, daily posts and things like that, the organic side of things. And so I think me and her can complement each other pretty well.
That's great. Do you do Christian, like then Facebook ads? Can you run kind of that side of the business?
Yeah. So anything paid, I do TikTok. I'm Google certified as well. So anything I'm on the paid side, LinkedIn as well. So working a lot of different industries, a lot of different agencies coming from that background as well. So I can do anything paid.
Okay.
I'm your guy.
I think that's
great. That will definitely complement, because I can work, like you mentioned, the community and organic side of it, and then you can work the more paid side of it. So that's a great partnership.
Yeah, for sure. I would love. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, I do think all those things are coming in there, and even Kyle, we're talking about, right, getting people interested, ultimately driving to the site. You need to use those platforms, and I'm really interested. I was just talking with Max about this tonight, like how to use the power of social media a whole lot more, so we can get that out. There's an organic component, but like there's a lot of people that are interested in the kind of content we are. So how do we go find those people? Christian, I'm talking about, like we can go target those people. We can create some really great content for them. We've got great free stuff to offer, so we have a reason for people to come to us. So
for sure,
how we're doing that, and I would say even for Kay, one thing I mentioned to Max today is like, just how do we get him out there more? Like I would imagine we want to help him. Like, how do we write more? How do we provide more content in the social spaces that people want to continue to engage with for the communities you're building? So like maybe we can help him with like, what are the things he should be talking about, or should he? Maybe you're the expert, but I'm thinking like he should be out there and talking about these things and providing people that are in these groups of some value.
I agree, especially within the Facebook group. I think it'll be great to provide a lot of value there, because it's very direct with people. Everything pops up on their timelines, and people are already joining these multifamily groups or real estate in general. So they already know to expect to see this kind of content. And it's good, because the more that we put out and the more that we kind of make it interesting, the more people will want to be a part of that.
Great. Max, I've been talking a lot, and you're doing, and basically I'm just signing you up for all the time. You're going to be on podcasts. You're going to be creating content everywhere. So I hope you've got more than 24 hours in a day, because we've got a whole bunch of stuff lined up for you.
Yeah, that's fine. And keep in mind that, if Kalia and Christian start going and Kyle start going, here's sort of the basis of what I need. I even formed a shared doc between all of us where you guys can start to write some basic queries or questions and I think Kay can go ahead and potentially respond to people with standard answers of some sort. Is that an option where we can map out what the common topics and FAQs are, and then you can use those.
Would you
to-
like to add a section on the website for that, or do you mean in general, when people, so there's two things, you can add a section onto the website, or just regularly, we can put out content that says FAQs, maybe, a carousel on Instagram, which is just a post with a few slides in it. And I can post maybe weekly or monthly FAQs and then post the response within the slides so that it's always, up to date.
I want to
Yeah.
do it in a way that allows for you to help me respond going forward. So maybe I write
Okay.
some of it at first, but you're setting it up in a way where you can make it so that even if you had to pass it off to somebody else to do some of the answering to, or whatever the future holds, it's sort of a system. I'd rather you systematize it rather than make it an individual response each time, if that's possible.
Sure, I'll brainstorm that once we're, off this call. I'll just think of, kind of a few things, and then I'll bring them to you. Just a few different options, and then maybe you can choose whichever route you think would be best.
Great. I have a couple questions for someone, but first I want to, what do we think about starting to put together some sort of do we need to put a content calendar or marketing calendar, something that talks about all the different channels that we're working on? And so we can start looking at that as we start getting them booked out, because I could see, Kyle, you get them booked on a show. What is the what is the lead up that we're talking about it on our channels to drive people to go watch that as well, right? So that it's all really intertwined together and start making it like just a master. Here's the thing, here's the ads that are running. Just we also don't want to do too much, right? You do too much and then it just, we kill people.
And that's part of my next set of questions for Max. I don't think we're quite there yet because I know that we're still tackling like verbiage and pitch and all that stuff. But I think we're going to have to figure out a good system to actually get you booked with these, because I could play middleman to a point, but my goal is to get time on your calendar at a time that works for you. So what does that system look like? And then I can kind of be able to talk with Christian and Kay about, he'll be making this appearance. He's recording on Thursday. It's going to come out the following Tuesday. I can give you links, and I could even do things like cut together audiograms for them to be able to share on socials too, if you wanted to go that route.
I just want to mention that I can make the content calendar. So any events or shows or anything like that anybody currently has, if you want to, I just put my number and my email right here in the chat. So if you would all like to email me whatever we have set up already, and then I can input the content that I will be putting out. And then Christian, anything that you have, you can email that to me or text me. And then I can compile that all into a content calendar, and that can be edited by anybody here. So if there's anything that needs to be switched or whatever, you guys can go right in. So I can make that, and then I'll share it with everyone, so we all have access to it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be great. I think that's just going to be key, because as you start, you can start feeling it happening, right? Everybody's going to have a place as soon as something happens, they're all
yes, we want to make sure we're all on the same
page. And then we got to maximize this thing. We got about 8 minutes left. I had another question just for you guys, and each of you, just either one or two things. What do you believe is the most important thing we should be tracking, since we're all talking about marketing? What are those things? Because ultimately we want to come together, whatever frequency this group gets together, but how are we holding ourselves accountable, right? You could be saying like, hey, we've got to do this, but Max, you're not creating your parts, or Mark, you're not doing this. What are the collective, what do you guys believe are the things that we should be looking at that's going to help us drive success? And just one or two each. I'll start, Kyle, you first.
Okay. And it actually kind of dovetails well with something else that Max and I are working on in the form of testimonials of your current members, but just really understanding how they found you, like where they found you, however they came across your information, and then what made them, I guess, click on your website probably, or what made them sign up to be a member, whatever what they did is. We need reasons for what that was and how they found you. Those are the two most important things, hands down.
Great. Okay.
So I think once you have a background in marketing, every time you open your phone or get on your computer, you see something and you realize that you're being pitched to, or you realize that you're a consumer, and now you see everything on the back end. So the average time it takes for someone to connect with your brand is between like 5 to 10 impressions. So I think an important thing to track is what percentage of customers were already following or tracking with the brand on social media and through the groups and things like that, and what percentage came off of things like Google My Business. Because if someone searches multifamily real estate syndication and they come from there, then that's different. Going off of what Kyle said, then that's different from them coming from your social media. So definitely tracking what percentage of customers were organic, organic in general, let's say just off of your organic content, non-paid, rather than Google My Business or Yelp, something like that. And then I also think it's important to track just the overall metrics of things like the group and the social media accounts on my side, so that we can be tracking how much we're improving, because we could push out content all day, but if it's not converting to resonate with the audience that we're trying to reach, then it's not really going to go anywhere. So even things like a monthly or a bi-weekly or a semi-monthly audit of all of the accounts, and then going back to, let's say, the 1st of the month versus the 31st of the month, and kind of see how those numbers compare.
Great. Thank you. That's great. And Christian, anything?
Yeah, so I like what Kyle said about, figuring out where your customer base currently, what did they find valuable? And I think that is super important, because that can help us find more customers like that. And because we'll be able to figure out, what is valuable to them, and then extracting that and then pitching that to, future people that may subscribe. I think the other thing that we really have to track is kind of like just like our daily type of habits that we're doing every day to get to our end goal of like 150 subscribers and things like that, and figuring out what is those steps to getting there. I mean, we can talk about metrics and things like that, but we have to make sure like we're taking the right steps to meet those metrics. And so just making sure we're doing all those things consistently, whether that might be posting every day, commenting on people's pages, responding back to people, sending out the right ads, creating the right ads, reaching out to the right podcasts, things like that. Just make sure we're consistent on those things, and then we can look at the metrics later on. But I think just being consistent is going to be key.
Great. Man, well, I'll tell you what, I just loved hearing from everybody. Really, it was all about really focusing on this journey and why people are doing it, and understanding to that heart, because we can really understand that. To us, the people we're trying to draw into it's a specific type of person, right? Person who's really driven by growth and has this kind of mindset that we're looking for. And if we're not doing the things that we should be doing to help engage them in that journey, then we're missing. So I appreciate everybody saying that. We only have a couple minutes left, Max. I dominated, but if you have anything else you'd like to kind of add or bring up or talk about in the last couple minutes.
So everything you guys are saying is just music to my ears. All right. I'm not sure I can do any of it, but I love the way it all sounds. I think it needs to translate into the rocks on the L10 meeting, and potentially the people on this call are on that weekly meeting, depending on what those rocks look like. And then I think, that the scorecard is going to be important too, in tracking the weekly numbers that we think are important to see what's happening along the lines of all that was mentioned.
Yeah. Are you guys familiar when he talks rocks, you guys know what that means? Just make sure.
I do not know what that means.
So we use something called Entrepreneur Operating System, and rocks are essentially the projects that we're going to be working on over like the next quarter, right? So they're like large scale. Think of them as projects that we're going to be working on. Like, hey, what we want to do is we want to launch the website, and so that's going to be there. We're going to build the fan base by this. So think about that way. So
okay. I think
we'll
Max
have pieces
actually
did
mention.
Yeah,
I didn't put the name to the description, but now that does make sense. That's what he was talking about.
And then to his point, then what we have is a scorecard. Is every week we put those numbers in, the things that we look at. So we got to quantify things, because that's how we hold accountable to see is it making sense or not. So we come in every week on this call, like, here's what we're responsible for, and then we talk about it. Do we admit it? Do we not? And what do we need to change? Right? It just allows us that this idea that we're just accountable to each other for those things. So I'm excited for that too. Anything else anybody has? We have, just to a minute. I know Max has got back to back tonight.
I'm good. If anybody wants to, collaborate on, I mean, obviously it would kind of be dependent on when we get Max booked for some podcast stuff, but what that strategy looks like when we first get one booked and how we promote it, I'd love to talk with you guys and figure out the best SOP for that.
Great. Maybe we'll send Max.
Okay, I see that all of the contact information is actually in that document, so that's great. So that, we can all kind of connect. I think it'll be great now that we have all met. So now we can kind of put together, a whole strategy that works for all areas of it. So I'm excited. I think we have, a good plan in place.
Great. I'll add my contact information into that list too, just so you guys have all that if we want to get there. So, that's it for me. Max, we kind of ran out of time. We usually we close this meeting, every meeting we have, so you guys know, this is called a level 10 meeting. And so the goal is like a 10 is how it's supposed to be, right? An effective meeting, and we felt it was good and we moved things forward. So we vote on the meeting at the end of it, and kind of everybody just kind of do what they did. So Max, you and I need to do it anyway. So we'll just have everyone kind of tell us what they think. We can do it easy. I like to just put up my fingers and put it for thing and tell us what people think. Sound good? All right, on count three. 1, 2, 3. Give it a 10. Oh my God, we crushed it. We crushed the meeting. We got all 10s.
Is it always all 10s? Is
It's
that
not.
how this is supposed to work?
No,
It's not. And
No.
here's what you can take. If you felt we got things done, if you felt better coming out of the meeting than started, the meetings we're talking about where you start the meeting, you're like, I don't know why I was there.
Yeah.
Then you say like it was a 3 and we would talk about it. We have a very structure on why we get through things and how we do it.
That's pretty cool, man. I've wasted so much time in terrible meetings in my life.
Yeah, we don't want to. Tell us, and we want to know. Like, I won't get my feelings hurt. If it's a bad meeting, it's a bad meeting.
Appreciate the transparency.
Okay. You guys, thank you. Max, I'll let you get off to your next thing. Pleasure meeting
guys.
you all.
Excellent.
you later.
Have a good rest of your night. Talk to
All
you
right,
soon.
you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.